All right, I'm sure most of you guys are already aware of the Islander. So what this watch is, Mark over at Long Island Watch took the opportunity to keep going with the SKX basically. He's created his own version or interpretation of the watch, but it really only happened after the SKX was discontinued. It just made sense. I'm sure you guys probably have watched his videos on it, or maybe noticed the watch pop up in forums or whatever the case. But I have to say it's pretty much genius, and he is selling them pretty cheap. I'll put a link to his website, or a link to this particular watch, or one of it. He has other colorways of it, and he's going to be evolving the brand. It'll be more. But he's selling these at $299. So, and basically what you have here is a holes case SKX. So it has the drilled lugs. I mean, it's essentially an SKX, right? Okay, but it has the hack and the wind. So it's going to have a NH36 or a 4R36, whatever movement. Okay, so you can see it hacks and winds, and still has a screw down crown, you know, not like the new 5KX. So you're going to have your 200-meter water resist. You have a anti-reflective sapphire crystal. You have a ceramic loomed bezel insert, custom dial. And so it pretty much addresses all of the stuff that everyone complained about with the SKX anyway, which is the hack and hand wind and the lack of sapphire. So all those boxes are now checked, right? At a price that's $299. If you go buy an SKX today, right now, I believe they're still trending at about $250-ish, and we'll see where they land. So really, you're talking $50 more, and you're getting a lot more here. And it's essentially still a Seiko. The only thing that's not Seiko is the dial. I don't know what brand the hands are or anything. I'm not sure how he sources a lot of his parts or where they come from. So, but typically in the mod community, you're going to do a lot of the stuff anyway. You're going to change out the bezel insert, sapphire crystal, all that stuff. So all that is done now. So let's break it down. I went on a couple of sites and just got some rough numbers. So, and I added them up. I can give them to you, but these are just rough numbers. So you can go buy like a case like this, a holes case with the case back, the click spring, the case back gasket, and the crystal gasket for around $73. And then you can get a bezel. I mean, these numbers are going to be plus minus, but if you go get like an aftermarket bezel, you're going to pay around $40. Now, this is an SKX bezel. I'm not sure where he gets them or whatever, but so we'll just use these numbers I gathered. The bezel insert is around $30, $32. The crystal is usually around $40. Now, I know you guys can find all these parts cheaper, but still, just hear me out. The handset, you're going to probably pay around $20. The crown is going to be just under $30, so like say $26. The inside chapter ring, you're going to pay around $19, depending what model you get. The dial, you can get dials similar to this, but they're going to be generic, around $36. The movement, about $43. And then the bracelet, which has solid end links, but it has stamped clasp, is about $70. You add up all those numbers I gave you, that's $399, and you still haven't assembled it. So it's $100 more than what you see right here. So that's why I'm saying he's underselling it. Like he's selling them at, I don't know, $299. Like it's, if you were thinking about getting an SKX, and you don't really care that it says, you know, has the Islander logo on there versus a Seiko, it's kind of silly not to buy this one, if that makes sense. You have the drilled case, you have the hack and the hand and wind movement, you have ceramic bezel, sapphire crystal. I don't know, it's up to you, whatever you want to do, but it seems like a pretty good option out there for sure. But I wanted to share that with you. So a viewer of the channel, K9 Cardio, big thanks for lending this in. He also sent in a couple other watches, but I wanted to get my hands on one of these Islanders, and they're just, it's a well-built, good value proposition. So, and it's familiar, you know what I mean? You put it on, it's a little tight on my wrist, this one is, but, and it looks and feels like an SKX, right? But you have the upgraded movement, sapphire crystal, the ceramic bezel. So I suspect that the loom isn't going to be as good as Seiko loom. We can test that. But in my experience, a lot of the aftermarket parts just aren't as good. But this is my first look at it right here. So you can see it's pretty good. It's pretty bright. You can see the handset is definitely brighter than the dial, the indices. Very cool that he decided to do his Islander logo loomed up too. That is definitely a bonus. I like that. You know, and ceramic bezel inserts, they've pretty much got the loom down pat on those. I haven't seen any really bad ones. But the only, I guess, concern I would have is the longevity of the loom on the dial indices. But it seems to be holding up really good. I'm sure as Mark evolves the brand, he might be able to change things up. If Mark, for some reason, if you watch this video, C3X1, give us C3X1 on handsets and dials and a full loom dial SKX. I told you before on a private conversation, but I know people would love a full loom dial SKX style watch. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to K9 Cardio for lending this in, and I will see you guys on the next vid.